Well, hey there, it's Susie here. Welcome to Reach Week. We're so excited about the Reach Retreat coming up in October in Hawaii that we decided this week to give you a little sneak peek into the Reach process, which is the foundation that underlies that incredible experience. So the celebrations have already begun for October. We have a wonderful group of women coming along, and all of whom are going to experience what I'm teaching you this week, but in a deep, deep way, because every single day of the Reach Retreat is dedicated to one of the topics that we're talking about here this week. So this is a process that I've been working with for many, many years in my own business. And it's a process that I return to anytime I feel like I need more clarity or to recreate my business in a different way. I can see that you are just arriving wherever you're joining me from. Just go ahead and let me know you're here by popping something into the comments wherever you are watching. That is also how you can go ahead and ask questions as we focus in on today's topic of Envision. That was a really loud car going by. I'm working from home today, and so you never know. The dog might come in, a big, truck might go by, whatever it is. But as long as we're here and we're connected, we're in a good place. So today is really about Envision, and I'm going to give you our definition of Envision in just a few minutes. But I want to introduce you right now to this Reach process. Hey, Shanda, lovely to see you. I saw a message from you somewhere this morning. Where did I see your name? I saw your name somewhere. I think you sent me a message about a video you got. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome to all of you. If you're here, like I said, go ahead and let me know that you are here. This is the Reach process. As you can see, it's got 5 different elements. The Reach Retreat is named after the process. Reach is actually an acronym. And the Reach process is really how you can create anything you want in your business. And trust me, it really, really is. And you'll see why as this week we mount these things together. This is a way to reach new heights in whatever area you turn your attention to. Because whatever you can envision, which is what we're talking about today, can become a reality. The first part of the Reach process, however, is reflect. And this is what we did yesterday. And here is what you told me. I'm going to make this a little bigger so that you can see it. You said to me, I want to like my business again. You said, I want to be more streamlined and organized in my business. I want to have direction. And as business owners, we so need a direction and growth without sacrificing everything else in my life. So this woman said, I want to grow the business, but I don't want to have to sacrifice everything else in my life to get there. So that was reflect, and we did an exercise. I gave you a worksheet to go away with. And so here we are today on Envision. Oopsie, that's moving too quickly. So let's talk about Envision. So this is day 2 of the Reach Retreat. It is part 2 of the Reach process. And this is where you finally start to give yourself permission to really dream, give yourself permission to connect with what your heart really desires, really lean into those wisps of thoughts that come into our mind and we block them away because we say, I don't have time, I don't have the money, I don't have the space, my partner wouldn't approve, who am I to do something like that? But envisioning is about starting to create the ultimate picture for your life. And this might mean letting go of who you think you are and really starting to lean into another part of you. Good morning, good morning. Welcome those who are here. The third part of the Reach process is actualize, because now that we've reflected, we've gotten to the here and now we've projected into the future, then now we go, well, if that's where I want to be and here's where I am now, what are the stepping stones there? And on this day at the Reach Retreat, we do a process that is unlike any business plan you've ever done, that gives women clarity about not just what they want to do, but the actual steps to getting there. And so we'll talk more about that tomorrow. And then the fourth part of the process is connect. And in order for us to have what we want, whether that is to reach more people, to get new clients, to work with higher paying customers, to be marketing influencers, to have 6 and 7 figure incomes, whatever it is, we need to connect to the right people and places and ideas, and also to connect with what we really want. The other part, this is the final part of the process, and you can have the other 4, but if you don't have this in place, it's really hard to make your ideal business, your ideal life manifest. This is about heroing your vision and really stepping into a way of being that champions what it is that you say you want to do. So the Reach Retreat is both a business and a personal development program. And so you'll hear me talk today about things that are very, very practical. And you'll also hear me talk about the things that really underlie success in business. And I'm coming up to 30 years since I attended a business retreat in Hawaii at the very same resort where we take women to every year for the Reach Retreat. And here's what I know: in the 30 years since then, that ignition of spark in me as a 26-year-old that has allowed me to build a life that I'm really proud of, and one that I enjoy living every day, doing work with women I love every single day, has been because of this reach process. And to this point of hero, I've had to be my own champion many, many times, and I had to surround myself with people who would also champion my vision. But as we dive into how do you envision your ideal business? How do you create a vision that's really compelling? Here's the first thing we need to do. We have to stop thinking like we've been thinking. And this is a quote from Buckminster Fuller, and it says, "You never change things by fighting the existing reality. To change something, build a new model that makes the existing model obsolete." Now, he was an inventor, and these words you'll see played out today as we look at how do we create a new model of what life can look like rather than trying to tinker with what we already have. So the theme for today's Envision, and the dictionary defines this word envision as to picture something mentally, especially something that's a future event. And that's a really important distinction. When we are envisioning, we're not looking at the here and now, we're looking at creating something in the future. And we're going to be talking a lot about creating today. So this is about reimagining what the future can look like. It is what I had to do when we switched from the Australian Businesswomen's Network to her business. It's what I did when we launched into the US with our last business. It's what I did when I sold my business. I had to re-envision a new future and create a brand new future. So often we just try and adjust what we've already been given or what we've already created. And what we really want to do is that we want to get maximum progress, and that is by doing what Buckminster Fuller said, and that is letting go of the old model and building a new model. Now, I want to introduce you to a process that I was introduced to by my friend Michelle Fowles. And if you haven't met Michelle, she is a really well sought after content strategist, and she works with business owners to clarify their vision. While she comes into their businesses usually to help them with their content or their marketing strategy, where she typically starts is by getting them really clear on their here and now, and then helping them envision what the new future will look like. And many, many years ago, probably over 10 years ago, when I was looking to I'd sold my business in the US. I'd come back to Australia. I was going full time into working in her business and not juggling it with everything else I was doing. And we sat with me and PJ and Michelle, and we just sold our business. We went, we want clarity about what our future is. And she said, well, I have this process that I'd love to take you through. And it was wonderful. It was so freeing and so clarifying that when I decided to take women to Hawaii for the Reach Retreat, I invited Michelle to come on board and be one of the mentors and to teach this specific piece, to teach about envisioning. And that's now built out into a day that is one of the favorites at the Reach Retreat, because women finally settle into being comfortable with dreaming bigger, going for what they really want, and doing what we call having your heart's desire. Because we believe that you can truly have your heart's desire. And that starts by saying, well, what do I really want? What do I really care about? What do I want life to look like? And when we tap into our heart's desire, we're directed in the right way. We have inner clarity and we have knowledge, deep knowledge of what we want. And right now, if you don't know what that is that you really want, that's okay. I didn't either. It gets clearer. And I'm going to explain in a moment why we have a friction between where we are now and where we want to be. Because so much time is spent on demands like there are children to feed and there are spouses to give attention to, and there's activities and events, things with deadlines. There's clients that want our time, and you're being pulled and pushed in every different direction. And it's difficult to remember to take space to really create what we want. We tend to be more responsive, more reactive to things that are happening, rather than having a really clear, defined picture of our ideal business and our life, and then taking actions in that direction. It's a fine distinction, but it's so, so, so important. So when you're frazzled with so many things, it can be hard to stop and ask, what's your heart's desire? And when you do ask, it may not come into view right away. And that's why we've created an environment where women can sit in the pocket of asking, what do I really want, without feeling rushed to make a decision, but having the space, the physical space, the emotional space, the mental space to really lean into that. So, yesterday we talked about our current reality. And so that is really about what is the here and now, taking stock of how did I get to where I am? What do I love about it? What causes me to feel joyous? What causes me to feel the opposite of joy? How does my business look right now? How profitable is it? How much fun am I having? Am I working with the people I want to work with? And so yesterday we did a little assessment in the reflect process. And then today, if we imagine there's our current reality and there's what we call at Reach our land of plenty. Our land of plenty is where we have plenty of everything that we desire. It is rich with our dreams. It is rich with the people we want to surround ourselves with, the relationships that we want to have, the vacations we want, the money that we want in our bank account, the impact that we're making. If we imagine we are here at that current reality and over there is our land of plenty, where you have the business that you love again, where you are streamlined and organized, where you do have direction, where you are growing without sacrificing everything else in your life, when you have the income and the results that you've dreamed of, when you're living in that home where you're spending time with those people. And when we look right now, there's a gap, right? There's a gap between where we are and where we want to be. If you're hearing me and you agree, just put the word gap in chat. I have a gap between where I now want to be and where I am right now. It's natural that there's our current reality and there's our land of plenty. And while it's not a moving target, we continue to grow, we continue to dream bigger. And so there's always a gap. So that is what Envision is all about. That is what this process that I'm introducing to you to is all about. And how we get there, is we create. First, we have to create that new place in our mind. And that takes creative energy. We get to create a new reality. As business owners, we're always creating new things. Your business wasn't, and now it is. Your products and services weren't, and now they are. And so we're natural creators as business owners. We take something that doesn't exist and we bring it into the world. And during the creative process, you have an eye on where you want to go, but you also have an eye on your current reality. And that space between is what Robert Frost, an author, refers to as structural tension. It's the beginning of the creative process, is that unrest. It's that discrepancy between what you want and what you have. Yeah, seeing lots of people with a gap. Thank you, Shonda. Thank you, thank you, thank you. If I'm not calling out your name, it's just that I can't see it right now, but I will acknowledge it later. So we have this structural tension. Here's where I want to be. Here's where I am right now. And now I have this gap and I feel uncomfortable in this gap. And what tends to happen is that we not just sit in the gap, but we do this. We go back and forth. We do what Robert Frost calls oscillate. This is where we are trying to move forward. We're one step forward, one step back, one step forward, one step back, one step forward, one step back. So rather than moving into our land of plenty, we reach out a little bit, we sink back. We want to try something new, we retreat. We want to get out of our comfort zone. We go, no, that sounds too hard. And so we're back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. But the only way for us to reach that land of plenty is to actually advance towards it. So rather than moving back and trying to think, well, there's too much gap between where I am right now, so I'm just going to stay where I am. I'm just going to stay here. We go, there is a gap. And so how do I propel myself? How do I advance myself into that? And having a compelling vision is part of that, a vision that pulls you forward. There's a quote that I love to share, and it's from Steve Jobs, the co-founder of Apple. And he says this, he says, if you're working on something exciting you really care about, you don't have to be pushed. The vision pulls you. That is how we know we have a compelling vision. And it doesn't always come into light. When I do this with clients, they're often brought to tears, and that's what gets them to fall back in love with their business. Yeah. When we can give someone the gift of clarity in their business, which is what we do every single day inside of her business, it does bring people to tears because they're back in touch with their heart. And I love this idea so much. And that is why we get you out of your seat out of your day-to-day into an environment where you can allow yourself to think like this. Allow yourself to really create that vision. This is Yvonne Shepherd. She has a business called Women's Fitness Adventures, and she takes women on outdoor hikes around Australia, New Zealand, New Guinea, Hawaii, Italy, all over the world. Spain. She's going to Spain, I think, next month. So she came and she really wanted to know, what is my role going forward? She had a vision for herself and her business. She said, what is my role going forward in this business? And she left the retreat saying, now I have a plan, I have a vision, and I have the process that can take what I thought was impossible and make it possible, all within a time frame. Because that gap, we don't want that to be a forever gap. We want to know, oh, okay, here's where I want to be in 2 years. Here's the vision I have for 5 years. In 2 years, I want to have a business that, has a passive income through my courses and my programs that pays everyone's salaries and gives me a salary of X. In 5 years, I want to be living part-time on my property in coastal Victoria, or I want to be traveling the world while still working, or I want to have a second in charge that's running the business so that I don't have to make every decision. For Yvonne, it was about getting really clear on how her business was going to look, that it wasn't so reliant on her. And now she has a plan. And she's taken what was impossible and made it possible. This year, Yvonne has had her best year ever. And I can tell you 2 years ago when COVID hit, her outdoor fitness adventure business where she goes traveling, guess what happened? It went from a healthy income to nearly zero. And in 2 years, she's brought the business back because she has a very clear picture. Her land of plenty is right here. Very, very clear to her. And so she's now having her best year ever and looking at a seven-figure year. And it's only April. Because she's clear on her land of plenty. She's connected. She's no longer doing that back and forth. She's right in there, reaching for that vision, having the process and the system to stop oscillating and start advancing. The woman on the right with the blonde hair, that is Chantel Gilbert, and a young entrepreneur, 3 young children. She was like, I don't know how I'm going to leave my family to come to Reach. She said, but I've never done anything for me. And I know that I need to know, how does my life vision and what I want to do with my husband, Josh, and the kids, how does that fit into what the business does? And so she came to the Reach retreat looking for that, looking for how her vision was going to fit into her life. And she said that this was something for her. She had never invested this sort of money in herself. She had never put herself first. And she said, I'm spending this money just for me. She said, the business is a big part of me, and being here helps me ensure that it's serving me and what I want. And so she got clarity on her vision. And for this beautiful woman to my right, well, to my left, but in the picture she's on the right, this is Tasha Jennings. She has a business called Conceive Baby, and she helps women to optimize their fertility naturally through her Zycia supplement, through her one-on-one consulting, and through her Your Fertile Pantry program. And so she's helped many, many babies come into the world and their mums conceive naturally, their parents. And she said, I couldn't think as big as I'm thinking now if I had stayed back in Australia. The destination of being around amazing people was such a big part of me thinking bigger. And I tell you this, not just because she came to Hawaii to the Reach retreat, but because sometimes to see our vision, to be able to think bigger, we need to get away from our desk. We need to get away from the Zoom screen. We need to get away from our suburb and the errands that we need to run at night, or the coaching that we do for the football team or the basketball team, or the groceries that we need to shop for, or the parents that we need to visit. Whatever it is, we built these little treadmills for ourselves, and we have these routines, and it happens in our business as well. And what happens is we also get confined in our thinking just as we get into our routine. And routine is fantastic. Trust me, I love routine, and I love to think bigger. And I know, and I've seen it time and time again, that it takes something different to be able to envision a new land of plenty. Because otherwise what we can see is just what kind of is around us, what we can do within this bubble that we're in. And so we need to create a boundless bubble. And that's what Michelle helps us do inside of the Envision Day at the Reach Retreat, this boundless bubble, this boundless world in which you create your land of plenty. And the thing with the land of plenty is it allows women like, my God, her name's gone straight out of my head, Diane, who lives in Princeton in New York, to be more expansive. And that's what we want. We want to feel more expanded, not like we're shrinking. We want to feel bigger. And that's a way of being that it's a feeling, it's a way of being. It's not anything you do. Playing a bigger game isn't about putting more, a bigger number on the goal of how much revenue you want this year. It's about stepping into a way of being. I'll talk more about that on Friday. It's about creating a vision and a pathway, like you can see here on this reach map, that takes you from where you are to where you want to be, that fills that big gap, that stops you oscillating, that has you going in the direction of your dreams. And here's what I've found: when these women leave the retreat, we're getting messages all the time like these saying, I feel like I'm in my land of plenty. I just bought that property that I'm going to be building the house on, that I'm going to be spending part time. I've now built an add-on to my home at Kennet River in Victoria, and now I'm visiting that and working from there 1 week a month. I've now got my children on board with this vision of where we're going to live. And so they're sending us posts all the time like these. And it comes from having expanded into their vision. This is Janine Barnes. She said, when I was sitting down this morning, what I realized, it actually came back to something simple. So your land of plenty doesn't have to be, to build a multi-million-dollar business. It doesn't have to be to have 25 staff. It doesn't have to be to have the biggest house on the block. Your land of plenty might be, I just want more time to travel. I want time to be with my family. I want to be more at home with my kids, or I want to be there for my aging parents when they need me, or I just want to be able to express myself creatively because I've become stuck in a rut. So your land of plenty, one of my land of plenty is being in learning environments. It's no surprise that I have a learning organization and that we do so much training and that I share my experiences and that I bring in experts to share experiences. And that's why I created this incredible group of mentors at the Reach Retreat, because that is my land of plenty. Being with a group of like-minded women, learning and growing, that's my land of plenty. So that happens every single day in my life. So I'm living my land of plenty. But I also put myself in other environments where I can expand. And so I put myself in learning environments in the US, in Asia, in the UK. That is for me my land of plenty. It's learning and growing and being fueled. And so I've created my life around that land of plenty, what that is for me. Now, I promised you a gift, and this is a way to do the exercise that I mentioned earlier. And I'm going to give you, the link is there on the screen, but I'm going to give you the link just as soon as we're done here. And you'll see it asks you to go through where you are now, what your land of plenty is, and what is that tension in between? What does that look like? So I'd love for you to do that exercise. And right here in the post, wherever you're watching, if you have any questions, just let me know. As I said, we dedicate a whole day to this process and to a number of different exercises that we do to help you get real clarity on your vision. And we work, on our own. We work in pairs. We work with the mentors to really build out this vision, because the next step, which we'll talk about tomorrow, is, well, now that I know where I want to go in the next 2, 5, 10 years, then how do I get there? And so I want to invite you right now to take a leap towards your vision and join us at the Reach Retreat. The Reach Retreat is coming up in October. It's on the 30th of October to the 3rd of November. So you have a few months, and there's a couple of different options. I'll tell you about the pricing in just a moment. But this is a place to pause, because quite often we just don't have the space to actually think and really envision, or we feel encroached on because we have family, we have friends, we have, responsibilities, we have things pulling at us. And so it feels like such a luxury to stop and pause, to actually stop and think, what do I really want? Some of us even feel indulgent in saying, what do I really want? Some of us feel indulgent in thinking about, is it okay for me to even pause? Just this morning, PJ messaged me and he's like, I just booked us for a week away in July, just down south. It's going to be really cold at that point, but the place has got a fireplace and it's just time to pause. Because I know, I'll be just on the end of a really busy period. And so that is time to pause. That is time to reset. And so this gives you a time to pause. There's classroom sessions every day with me and the mentors who are there all week, so they don't just present their day. And so day 2 Envision is presented by Michelle. Day 1 is presented by me. I'll tell you about the other mentors later in the week. But we're together kind of 24/7. But we do have these classroom sessions from, 9 till 5:30 during the day. And there's lots of time in between and in the evenings and in the mornings to connect and build relationships. And the relationships, I've been told, are one of the most powerful things that come out of this experience. And I know that to be true because that's been the same for me. It's why I travel overseas a couple of times a year and invest in myself and my learning to be around like-minded people, people who are thinking bigger, people who have bigger visions. And there's lots of time for celebration, dinners and fun together, from cocktails at sunset to cultural experiences. We're in Hawaii after all, so we take in a bit of the culture. And it is such a beautiful culture. It's so heart-centered. It is so much about vision and creation, the things we talked about here today. But we also eat some amazing food and enjoy some famous hospitality from the Hawaiian people. Why I do this is that the Reach Retreat is the fastest way I know. And I have been, like I said, I've been at this for 30 years. It's the simplest way to go from struggling in whatever part of your business to success in that part of the business, to see the magic that is available to you, because Reach is just one magic moment after another. And along the way, you'll get that shift that you are growing and learning and expanding. And nothing feels better than that. In my experience, nothing feels better than that. This morning, I got these two messages, and one is from Anna, and I'm not sure if Anna's here today. Oh, Kat says, oh, look at those photos. It's making me homesick for Reach. Yeah, so Kat was there with us last year, right? Last year, and we had so much fun. And Kat, I got these two messages from women coming today, and the first is from Anna. She said, this will be my first year because this is a program women return to. And I'm so excited to be going. I talk about it all the time, she says. And Michelle Pascoe was there last year, and she said, a wonderful retreat. Can't wait to go again this year. And I saw another message from her today. She said, when I came last year, I was really busy and I loved the experience. And now I want to come back and do it again and do it again. Yeah. And so we're very excited to have her there. And here is what you can expect. Clarity. The first thing is clarity. You're ready for a clearer and bigger version of yourself and what's possible to energize you and your team. Bigger goals. So you have some big goals for your business, and you know you need to think different to reach those goals. You already know that. And you know that right now you might be a little bit stuck and spinning, maybe doing that oscillating motion, and you're ready to find a new way to do this. And you're ready to set your next vision because you've been in business long enough to go, okay, I've done what I've done. Now I need something that pulls me forward, that compels me, that does like the quote with Steve Jobs said, it pulls you forward. And a renewed focus, like clarity, like this is what I'm working on, this is what I'm doing. And maybe you started your business with a partner or a spouse, or you started your business long ago. Yesterday, we had some women who'd been in business for 20 plus years. And this gives you a renewed way to show up and really to take a breath. The pause is one of the greatest gifts you can give yourself and the business. If you've had your head down for so long building your business, maybe you feel like it's time to take a breath and really reset that vision and give yourself time and space to ask, what is next? What do I want next? Because time passes really quickly, right? And also to step things up, to say, I've been here, now I want to be here. I need to step things up. And knowing that you have a sense of being supported. There's people around you, there's the mentors, there's the other women, there's my team who are there to support you along the way. And more than that, you get a plan. So you walk away with a plan for your bigger game, whatever that is for you. And one of the outcomes is more money. I know Kat, who just made a comment, her life has changed a lot since the Reach Retreat. She got really clear on her vision. I'm just talking about you, Kat. Really clear on her vision. And she has changed a lot of things about her life and her business this year. And she's really, that oscillating that I mentioned earlier, she's doing the advancement stage. She's moved fully into growing this incredible business, Impactful Presenters, which helps women to become impactful presenters. And so what happens is we start to build businesses where we're truly focused on the dollars. And the dollars, yes, for the dollar's sake, but also the dollars because of the impact that it can make on our families and our lives and our visions. And I said I would explain the price. And before I explain the price, I just want to let you know that we love to surprise and delight our women. And so one of the bonuses that we have created is a 4-month follow-up program. So while you're there for a week with me from the 30th of October to the 3rd of November, we then tack on a 4-month follow-up process because we want to be there holding your hand as you implement the Reach process and as you put that to work in your business. In fact, next week, I'm meeting with the 2022 graduates and it is month 4, right? It's April now. They were there in November of the Reach follow-up program. And this is a great way to connect with not only the women who you attended with, but the alumni of the Reach retreat, incredible other women who are also growing and scaling their business. So Kat says, and you're spot on, the clarity I gave during the Reach has been an absolute game changer for my business and my life. Yeah. Thank you. Talk away, she says. And that's not the only bonus. We've also got these incredible worksheets that women go on to use time and time again to run themselves through the Reach process. And every day, whether it's we're working on Reflect or Envision or any of the sessions that I'm coming up, there's always worksheets that ask poignant questions that allow you to really question. Like when we ask good questions of ourselves, that's when our thinking opens up. The third bonus is that you get to be part of the alumni. Now, we've been running this program since 2017. We had a break over 20 and 21 because of the pandemic, but we went back to Hawaii last year. And we now have 50 business owners who've done the Reach Retreat, who become your business besties. They are women and they catch up regularly. They have a online hub that we provide where they can connect at any time and support each other. They have the common experience of the Reach process and the Reach Retreat. And only graduates of Reach and the Reach mentors have access to this online network where they can stay connected. Now, to apply for the Reach Retreat, there is no fee. All you need to do is head on over to thereachretreat.com, and I'll put that up here on the screen for you. And then you'll see an application form. It asks you some questions about your business because this is a program that is curated. We'd love to have you along, and we'd love to know that it's the right program for you because it's a significant investment in your time and money. And so we want to make sure that it's for you. And how we know it's for you is that you have been in business for a little while and you had some experience already. I'm just going to make that bigger so that you can see it. And you rarely get the time these days to actually get time out of your business to work on the important things, or you feel a rush of excitement as you think about the potential that exists in your business, but it just feels that little bit out of your reach, or maybe you just cannot get the time to focus. Or maybe you want to bring renewed energy, something new, a freshness into your business, like the woman yesterday who said, I just want to like my business again. Or you want to really look at how do I create a healthy and sustainable income that supports me and your team if you have a team. But more than that, it supports you. It allows you to have balance and less of that overwhelm and less of that, feeling like you're on a treadmill. And maybe you want to love your business again. You want to feel aligned. You want to feel on track. You want to get rewarded for the value that you bring. And you know deep down that you need some time and space to step away from the day-to-day, to get out of the weeds and some inspiration. So if you can relate, if this sounds like you, then know that we have built an incredible package worth over $28,000 in value, from the 5 days that you get to spend with me and the mentors, to the 5 nights luxury accommodation at this beautiful oceanside retreat, to all your meals and refreshments from the Monday morning through to the Friday afternoon. We've got you covered. Drinks, anything you want to drink, anything you want to eat, a morning, noon, and night, plus some, extras. Surprise fun and cultural activities throughout the week, oceanside yoga sessions in the morning with a qualified instructor, juicing and journaling. This is our pause every morning to actually just connect and to set our intention for the day, special gifts and goodies, the online community, which I mentioned, and a Reach training. So you might think, well, that all sounds good, but how does it all work? And what do I need to do to be ready to do? I bring my business plan along. What do I need? We're going to give you a pre-Reach training that explains all of that. So that's over $28,000, $28,300 in value. Plus it comes with a money back guarantee. So if you come to the Reach retreat and you think, I'm not sure if this was really what I was expecting, no problem. You get your money back. There is a discount that applies when you apply by this Friday evening, and it is a $2,000 saving if you're a member of the Her Business Network. And if you're not a member of the Her Business Network, all you need to do is simply join, and it's worth doing it to get that extra discount. So the program is worth it at full price. No doubt about that. And why not save a couple of $1,000s if you can when you apply this week? Now, as I said, there's no cost to apply and there's no payment to be made. It's simply an application to say, hey, I'm interested in this. Susie, can we get on the phone and chat? And that's exactly what happens. When you apply, you fill out the application form, you get to a page and it says, what time would you like to meet with Susie? You choose a date and time and we get together. And so I'd love for you to join us at the Reach Retreat in Hawaii. It is coming up, as I said, in October. So there's a couple of options. You can pay in full and get extra savings, or you can pay between now and October, which gives you a little bit of a management of your cash flow. And either way is fine, and my team will walk you through all of that. So if you have any questions about that, please, please, please let me know. Someone said lots of poke. If you don't know poke, it is one of my favorite Hawaiian dishes. There is poke, but there's lots of other things like beautiful fresh food. It's an island, and so a lot of the produce is grown right there. It's fresh. We're very big at her business at really nourishing you anyway. So we make sure that we choose a menu that caters to people's dietary requirements, but also gives you a break from perhaps, having to accommodate other people's diets, but really just, eating well for yourself. And that's a part of it. So yeah, so there is some poke for the person who asked that. So the reachretreat.com is where you can learn more. You'll see stories from women who've done the program in the past. You'll also see everything that's included and the value that's available to you. And right now I'm taking interview calls over the coming days. So all you need to do, even if you're just curious and you think, look, I just have a couple of questions, then you don't have to post them here right now. You need to just go ahead and apply and then make a time, and I'd be happy to answer those. Someone else asked what the location is. The location is the Outrigger Kona. So it's at Kona. When I went, it was called the Kona Surf Resort. It's been bought by a couple of different operations over the last, because it's been 30 years, but it's currently called the Kona Outrigger. And it is right on the volcanic rocks. In fact, one night we have cocktails right out there on the volcanic rocks. It's absolutely beautiful. You can't even build hotels this close to the water anymore. And all your accommodation is included, as well as your meals. And so you're right there in that beautiful environment, secluded away from busy malls and away from bunches of tourists. The resort is stunning. Magic, says Kat. Yeah. The location is unmatched, and that sort of really imprinted on me when I went there 30 years ago. Even though I was a young woman, I was terrified at the time. What am I doing here? I'm not a real entrepreneur, not like these people. They know so much more than me. What if I look stupid? What if, all the what ifs. And what happened is it was that time to pause. It was that time to reflect. It's when I started to envision the type of business and life that I wanted. I hadn't even started, really. I barely started my business at the time, and I was at this business retreat. The Reach Retreat is for women who do have a business. So I do want to say that. Or you've had a business and you've stopped and you're now starting another one, like Diane, who I mentioned earlier. She had a business as a stylist. She then moved to America. She married a beautiful man, and they adopted a little boy. And so she stopped that business. And then when he was old enough, he was off in school, she decided she wanted to write children's books. And that's when she came to the Reach Retreat. And she has been twice now to kickstart and grow that business. It wasn't her first business. But then there's other women like, Tracy Bode, who'd been in business 20-something years, or Amy Geach, who'd been in business 10 years, or Kathy Betty, who'd been in business over 10 years. And Kathy's coming back this year. She owns a number of early childhood centres. And so she's in that period in her business where it's like, I'd like to move out of the business a little more. I'd like to be doing less. So she's coming back because she got some great gains from the first time she came, and she's evolved as a person. And now she's coming back because she needs a top up. She needs some Reach love. Yeah. Great. And so all you need to take care of is your airfare. We take care of from the moment you arrive at the resort to the moment you leave. You're in our hands and you're well taken care of. And like I said, I'm there. I bring my team along. One of the best parts I think of is not only just the gift that you're giving yourself, but also having access to the mentors that I bring along. These people typically charge tens of thousands of dollars each to spend time with them, and they are there from the beginning to the end. So they don't just pop in and do their presentation and then go back to the green room. They're there. They're there for conversations over lunch, over dinner. We always say, just let them use the bathroom. Let them have a break. But other than that, they're available to you. So go ahead and apply for the Reach Retreat. In the meantime, I want to let you know I will be back tomorrow. Tomorrow's session is actually at 1 p.m. and we'll be talking about Actualize, which is the next step in the Reach process. So now that I know where I am, now that I know where I want to go, now that I recognize this gap that's there between where I am, where I want to go, how do I plot the points between where I want to go and where I want to be? And that is day 3 of the Reach Retreat. I'm taking you through that process. And once again, we'll have a wonderful handout for you. Today's handout, as I said, do this exercise and let me know. Let me know how you go. I'm going to put a link to the handout here. You can download it. You can complete it. And then if you want to, let me know right here where you're watching that you've done it and any ahas that you had, because I'm very big on not just information and inspiration. And I hope you've gotten a little bit of that today, hearing the stories, but also implementation, because ultimately that's how we bridge the gap. But we don't want to be implementing busy stuff. We want to be strategic about what we're implementing, and we want to have that really, really clear picture. And whoever here is saying, I'm so tempted, just go ahead and apply. You've got nothing to lose. And if my experience, and I said it yesterday, but maybe you weren't here. When I left the retreat, when I was 26 and 30 years ago, I said, one day I'm going to come back here and I'm going to bring, and at that time, I hadn't even started her business. I said, I'm going to bring women to this resort. And I had that very clear picture. And I also got very clear that my purpose, my life was going to be about creating learning, non-traditional learning environments for entrepreneurs to prosper and grow. And that's my life's work. I've been running the Her Business Network, which used to be the Australian Business Women's Network, for 29 years. I can't remember, 1995, and really continue to create a bigger vision for myself and my business. And it changes over time. And that's the thing. It changes over time, right? Your business vision when you started, Linda, might be very different to what it is now. And what you wanted 10 years ago might be very different, because we're a different age. We have different responsibilities. We have different needs. And I know for me, what I want business to look like now is very different to when I started my business, when I wanted lots of staff. I wanted to be in all the countries. I wanted all the things. These days, I have a micropreneur business. I have a beautiful team. There's 8 of us, including me and PJ, and it is designed around giving me the life and business that I want. It's about giving me my heart's desire, which is a combination of both what I want for my life, but also the impact that I want to have on the customers that I want to work with. I don't work with people I don't want to work with. I work with the beautiful members of the Her Business Network and the women who come to the Reach Retreat and the women who are part of our mastermind. And that is what gives me joy. Going back to yesterday's point, that is what lights me up, right? And I've moved away from doing things that rob me of my joy, which can be the worst thing. Good morning. Good morning. If you've just joined us, go ahead and hit the rewind button and check out today's session. Remember to pick up your handout. I will see you tomorrow, 1 p.m. Sydney time tomorrow, so a little later in the day, when we look at Actualize. You're awesome. TheReachRetreat.com is where you can apply. I look forward to seeing you back real soon. Let me know if you've got any questions. Bye for now.